What was the most innocent thing you've seen being used as a weapon? Children. The small ones can be used as a melee weapon, like a club or a mace. Use them as slingshot and frozen bag of milk. It not only caused severe swelling, but aided in reducing that swelling afterwards. Only in Canada. We have bag milk in our public schools in the States. When I was 7 I yelled, "Pegasus used Star Blast attack," and launched a Beyblade in someone's face. Did it go into someone's eye? Because this happened to me like 8 years ago. Now a knitting needle got stabbed through my sister's hand by me, so it's safe to say that up until then you didn't have a tight-knit relationship. For clarification, it was an accident and I was 3 years old. I tied a knot in a piece of rope and beat the shit out of my boyfriend with it. Edit. Should probably mention it was consensual before people accuse me of domestic abuse. Lol. All I can think of is that scene in Casino Royale, and I hope to God you don't mean like that. I haven't seen the scene you're talking about. Got a link? I've read somewhere that a woman stabbed her husband with a squirrel. You gotta get me some source on that one, mate. Wasn't it in the Chronicles of Riddick where he used a teacup to take out some prison guards? Yeah, and IRC he then threatens them with some 2-inch Allen wrench. The whole trick was that he was putting a metal utensil on super sharp lava rock, which was what was making the utensil so dangerous. Love that movie. Please watch the extended cut because otherwise it doesn't make any damn sense. I've used a door as a weapon once. Edit. It was still in the door frame. That shit's up. I got hit by a doorknob in the face when I was a kid, needed 5 stitches or so. While my aunt is getting changed into a bathing suit years ago. 5-year-old cousin, Mom, I want to be like you when I grow up, I just don't want your body. Fatality. Today, I saw my own son use a bicycle as a weapon. Are the proud moments of fatherhood. I'm a correction officer of several years. Believe me when I say everything and anything can be used or fashioned into a weapon if one is committed enough. So to answer your question, the most innocent thing I've ever seen used as a weapon was cake and toothpaste. An inmate in one of our shoe cells stocked up several pieces of cake and several tubes of toothpaste. He dried out the cake and rolled it into a spike, which he then took the toothpaste and applied several layers over the course of a couple days, thus hardening it enough to use as a weapon. As an unsuspecting officer was walking by, he called him over and told him he was suicidal. Standard procedure at my facility says that if someone is suicidal, they must be removed from the cell and taken to the medical OMH and evaluated. So as he was taken out of the cell, he slipped the cuffs and stabbed the cake spike into the face of my fellow officer. The officer in question ended up with a nice cut next to his eye and a week off. Geez, sounds like he confused suicidal with homicidal. Frozen lamb to the slaughter. In English class we read that 3 weeks ago. Good to hear someone is including Dahl's adult work in a curriculum. A pair of safety scissors. They became the thing they were meant to destroy. A dildo. Edit. I used it in self-defense while arguing with a friend. I slapped him in the face with Dr. Skin's 4-foot mini cock. The fight ended shortly after that. Saw a woman swing her dog at another woman. Takes a bitch to fight a bitch. Keanu Reeves once used a book and a pen. Benny Hill, the 1970s comedian, once had a hit single about a duel between a milkman and a baker. It contained the line, "As the concrete hardened crust of a stale pork pie caught him in the eye. And Ernie bit the dust." Ironing. The sound was glorious, but then I ran for my life. Cauliflower rice. I once saw Clive Owen kill a man with a carrot by stabbing it through the back of his mouth and out the other end. Then he turned to me and said, "You know, we should do this, but in a movie." Saw one infant stab his twin sister with a plastic spoon. I think he would have gouged her eyes out if the mom hadn't stepped in. A fucking pencil. I watched him kill 2 men in a bar, with a pencil, a fucking pencil. My brother used sharpened pencils to be Wolverine once. My sister ended up in the hospital because of it. A magnifying glass was used by a kid to burn bugs in the sunlight. He'd hold it above the bug, with the magnified sun rays scorching the victim. I'm just surprised they didn't start huge fires. Smoked the fabric on my chair one time doing that. Is this not something we all did as a child? A single piece of paper. They were waving it around and yelling, "I'ma give you paper cuts if you don't stop." Words, word, Excel, straw. You can KO someone with an Xbox One controller. In a Thai refugee camp in 1985, a rebel soldier, dressed in rags and scared from war, walked up to a small group of children, unsheathed a large machete and proceeded to peel with precision a pear to share with everyone. The blade was dinged up like it had been struck multiple times on something blunt. And it was massive. Yet he somehow used it to delicately peel the pear and then split it into segments. Half the fiber as well as its antioxidants and anti-inflammatory phytonutrient are in the peel. What a mon! My brother threw a tomato at me and it knocked out a tooth. My friends and I were walking around trick-or-treating and two of them got into a little bit of a argument, so he swung his bag of candy and gave him a nosebleed. Math folder. Mom got fed up when I couldn't figure out basic math. Never thought it would be my source of misery mentally and physically. When I was in primary school, a classmate stabbed another classmate with a sharp pencil because he was bullying her. Everybody just sat watching in awe of how the pencil just stayed put in his hand. I've been attacked with many items of food including courgettes, lemons, bananas and a really big pumpkin. My sister stabbed me with a Dorito fragment once. Drew blood. Whenever my sister got mad, she started throwing chairs around. Now, can you think of anything more innocent than a bloody chair? A toddler chair without the blood. We had an all-cousins sleepover, so it was probably 20 to 30 kids in this house. Anyways, we had a huge pillow fight. That shit was a war zone, except instead of dead bodies, you had 15 or so kids lying on the ground crying because someone smacked them in the face with the hard-ass pillow. A more serious thing was when my younger cousin had a birthday sleepover. I didn't really know the kids there as they were more of a family friend that we just called her daughter our cousin. So the adults basically left us to go somewhere I don't remember, but apparently one of the kids there had the tendency to go get knives every time something made her mad. I didn't find that out until one of these kids actually made her mad. Good news is we were able to stop her from getting the knives. Bad news is that poor kid that made her mad got smacked by a whole liter of soda. A pool ball. It was in a bar fight. Dude grabbed it off the table and started knocking people the fuck out. The sound it made as it connected was something I won't forget. Donut, no shit. We were on a raid of an encampment of itinerant caravan dwellers and one of the coppers was attacked with a custard-filled donut. It was I don't like to talk about it. We put milk duds in a paintball gun when I was a kid and shot at our friends. Left some massive welts, but they're incredibly inaccurate. This will get buried, but I don't think I'll have a better place to post this. So I live in Israel. The funniest way a terrorist stabber was stopped was with a dildo. I'm not sure exactly how this lady used the dildo to stop him because the news didn't know how to report on the event. They didn't want to use dildo, sexual device, etc., so they had to be creative with their wording. We figured out it was a dildo by context and from word to mouth. Made a sad situation funnier and therefore easier to live with. And then there was a pizza guy who stopped a terrorist from stabbing by frisbee flinging a pizza pie tray at the guy's head. Knocked him off his feet long enough to have the knife taken away and arrested. I once saw a 70-year-old woman on the bus with a rolling pin and another lady with a frying pan sticking out of her bag. A Marine showed me how to make a deadly weapon out of section of newspaper. A razor scooter. Two guys in my hometown got into a fight and a lady from the neighborhood was trying to break it up. One guy picked up a scooter and swung it at the other fellow but missed and cleaved the lady in the head. She fell and died shortly after. Charger had a student try to hang another student with a shoelace, so that was cool. My brother once threw a fish at his now ex-wife during an argument. They weren't right for each other, the fish chucker and the gossip. I once saw a movie or something where this Asian karate policeman beat up another cop with the blackboard cleaning sponge to show he can use anything as a weapon. It was ridiculous even to me as a kid. Boil, throw it on person. Super Mario plush toy Yoshi, don't ask why me, of course. A duster, no, literally saw it today. A kitty I just threw the clawing thing, turns out she killed a bird a while after that. Not so innocent now. I can't pick between a frozen guitar or a Nintendo Zapper. It's odd, me and my friends were playing outside talking about video games etc. But then a kid hit my friend's little bro of his bike, a girl nearby got a frozen guitar, and my sister got my Nintendo Zapper. Then ran up to him and swung and missed and amp. #X200B. This was 3 years ago and I am not friends with them, sorry for the bad grammar.